The Stonehouse Series, The War is Over, Chapter 19. Sunshine's early morning sneaky kiss to Martha was accompanied by a chorus of clucking chickens, scratching out their favorite rendition of, "Oh, please release me, and then feed me." Tripping a wooden flip-flap latch, Martha first tugged their cage door slightly open and then wiggled her hand around inside to push the hen house door wide open. A half a dozen floor birds bolted first, flapping their way to bug and clover breakfast. Squawking chickens spread across the yard, but Martha delayed her advancement towards picking eggs as one by one roosting pole flyers flew past her head at nose height. She felt poofs of wind and bits of debris strike her in the face, elements released from flapping feathers and beating wings. Ugh, no wonder I usually let Mary fetch the eggs. And she thinks chickens are fun. Go figure. I'm going to give the flyers more time to clear out first. Reaching into the feed box, she brought out a full scoop, which she dumped in little piles near the coop. 26, 27, 28. That's not right. Where are they? Cautiously, Martha stepped inside. 5 chickens were hiding out in the hen house nesting boxes. Making a basket from her apron, Martha shooed the wannabe sitting hens off their nest and gathered 11 eggs. Soon enough, girls, Martha pledged to her protesting hens. By Passover, you will each be sitting on a nest full of eggs. Stepping back into the house, Martha detected a slight tinge of wood smoke in the air. John and Jesus had a fire going, and Lazarus set a kettle of water on to boil. Gazing across the room, Martha gathered up the sight before her and gently slid it into her memory box. Mary slipped out, wrapped in a blanket with her hair all messed up. She managed to wrap one arm around her brother before Martha threw her a go-get-dressed glance. As Mary scampered back to her room, Martha found herself focusing on dust stuck to the bottom of Mary's feet. Martha, it's a happy day. Enjoy the journey. I believe we all need to have an extra day of no work. What do you think, John? Well now, Martha, what an excellent idea. What do you say, Jesus? We must meet up with Peter and the rest in Ephraim, and that's a 15-mile walk, he answered while observing the hopeful faces of his friends. But we don't really need to leave until tomorrow. Yes, John said with a little bit too much enthusiasm. Laz patted his stomach. So who's fixing breakfast this morning? His older sister answered, I will, if you all stay close enough for me to hear the conversation. Deal, it looks like a bit chilly outside anyhow. Against the home's western wall was a long built-in storage box. It had several separate lids and was long enough to serve as 2 beds, but was mostly used as a bench. Cushions and pillows were scattered along the length of it. Further from the door, and with a couple of cushions between himself and the bedroom wall, was Jesus listening to happy conversation with his feet up. Lazarus landed on a cushion near Jesus and asked, Why? Why what, Laz? Why are we made like we are? These bodies are so fragile, and most people only live 70 or 80 years. I talked with Noah's grandfather, and he lived to be 900 and, whatever it was, 969. Okay, 969 years, but these bodies are so limited. We could have been made unbreakable forever. Jesus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I do. You've seen a lot of things that are now stuck in your mind forever. What did Adam tell you about that? You did ask him, didn't you? Well, yes, but they still only know what's written. Well, and what's prophesied, and what has happened up until now. And that's the end of what they know. I think you know a lot more. Martha could see from her window that some chickens had uncovered an entire covey of tasty grubs and gobbled up what they could until another hen spied its frantic feeding, which triggered several more chickens to descend on the first hen's private stash. And in a flurry of rust-colored feathers, yellow beaks, and rake-scratching red feet, the big white worms were soon gone. Well, good answer, though there are limitations on me because of this flesh and blood body. Plus, there are some things I won't tell you. Okay, well, that's fine. I understand. John and Mary were all ears, and Martha was cooking without making any noise. Mary, you watch those 2 the chief priest sent over. There were 5 to start with. What do you know of the 2 who ran back to Jerusalem? How do you mean? What do I know of them? You kept an eye on them. What's their heart condition? They came here with the intention of undermining you. They were intent on keeping Lazarus in the grave by casting doubt and unbelief on the words you sent to us. Mary pushed her bench pillows around, trying to get comfortable, and added, They took turns talking to me. It seems like they kept stirring up the same feelings with different words around them, but they all wanted me to be mad at you, like it was somehow your fault Lazarus was in that hole in the ground. John, you saw them. How old do you think they were? Oh, 35, maybe 40. Why? All 5 were confronted with the truth, and 3 turned towards God. Mary finished her answer, and the other 2 headed straight to their handlers back at Jerusalem. Jesus continued, You understand what they have seen? And if they had another 400 years to choose, would they choose to repent towards God or stay in rebellion? Looking back over her shoulder at Jesus, Mary concluded, They made up their minds almost immediately, so I would say that more time would not make any difference. Very good, Mary. Each individual person will have their opportunity to hear the good news. Everyone will have the chance to choose life or death, blessing or cursing. But choosing life is much better. Lazarus wondered, So, can I say it like this? Like we were placed in these flesh and blood bodies where we can only do so much good or so much bad. In this limited condition, then, we have one primary choice that will last forever, and that choice is which one of the 2 kingdoms will we belong to forever. Whatever kingdom we belong to when our body dies, that is the kingdom we will belong to forever. From what I have come to understand, there is not a way in yet, only a protected spot waiting for it. But something that you, Jesus, are going to do in the near future will allow you to be the door into that kingdom, the only door. An acceptable answer. Is it yours or Adam's? Well, it's a little bit of both. My Father will never allow rebellion in his house, not ever again. John's ears perked up. Jesus? How did rebellion get into heaven? I'm hungry, Jesus said. It smells like breakfast is ready. What do you say, Martha? Eggs up? Wash, bless, and eat. In that order, said Martha. No rebellion in my house either.